do with your time?
I kept myself that way for a reason. Like, because my mom was a school teacher, so I had to keep that image of that I was staying sober and getting, like, I had A's and B's all the way through school. And so it was like later on I would meet people that I knew that were doing drugs and that I went to high school with, and I would show up at a party or show up at their hotel room to buy drugs, and they would like just kind of stand off and be like, really? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I was high all the way through high school. And they just have that shocked look on their face. Yeah, I felt that I could completely fly underneath the radar with the way I acted and the way I looked. If I kept myself at a cleaned up look, that people would consider me more of a goody two-shoe kind of person instead of being an addict. At the time, I thought it was good that me and my dad we seemed to be getting along better. Of course, both of us were high, and just got along, and he was buying drugs for me, and so of course I was taking his money, and everything was going good. That lasted about a year.
And things started to change a bit?
Yeah, I found out that he was taking, things changed when I found out about him not paying the rent, that he was giving me the rent money. And he wasn't, like, it ended up him coming to me and saying, hey, I've got $300, but we need to pay about $800 worth of bills in order, to keep living in this lifestyle. And I was like, okay, let me see that $300 and I can come up with your $800 within a few days. We lived like that for, that was about 6 months of the year that we lived like that. And at the end of it, yeah, it became real stressful for me, because that's when I found out that he wasn't paying the rent, because he told me that he was. And so I was taking care of the electricity bill and the water bill and the gas bill, and he was supposed to be taking care of the rent, and he wasn't. Instead, he was giving the money to me. It ended, I moved out when I was 18. I moved out and he moved into an apartment with my stepmom and my little sister. And he was still buying drugs for me at this time. But I made sure that it was more of me giving him drugs at that point, because I didn't want him not to pay his rent and not, to be able to live, to take care of my little sister and the rest of my family. My dream would be owning my own automotive shop and having my dad actually work for me, because he would know the other half of the business that I don't.
How's he doing now with his drug addiction?
He's clean and sober. He's been...
Can you say my dad is?
My dad is clean and sober. He's been clean about 3 months longer than I have.
And do you guys help each other, or is it easier to say, how does it work with you two now that you're both working through addiction?
Me and my dad, we're able to actually sit down and talk and go through our emotions and feelings of what's going on in our lives today. Before, it was me and him more of yelling and going along. at the end of our use together. That's what it was. It was yelling at each other. We have had, me and my dad have had the moment of, now that I'm clean and sober and he's clean and sober, and looking back, we both realized that what we were doing was not the right thing, that we were both slowly going downhill, but we're also keeping each other up kind of at the same time.